Hi everybody, we are going to talk about uncertainty reduction in interviews. And if you think about it, that really is the purpose of an interview, is to reduce uncertainty. For example, would this person be a good employee? Would this person be a good daycare provider for my children? What are the symptoms this person has and what would be the correct diagnosis? Should this child stay with the family or be placed in foster care? So there's lots of opportunities for using uncertainty reduction theory in an interview context. So let's go ahead to our next screen. And uncertainty reduction theory was developed in 1962 by Charles Berger and John Braddock. And what they looked at were the strategies that people use and the avenues that people use for reducing uncertainty. Uncertainty makes us feel uncomfortable when we don't know how we're supposed to act or what we're supposed to do. And so we engage in strategies to reduce that. Oh, sorry, guys. Alrighty. And Berger and Braddock talk about the interrelationships among 7 factors in uncertainty reduction. First, we have verbal, and those are the words that people use, the things that are said, and how that can help us reduce uncertainty. We also have nonverbal factors, which are, who's doing what, how are people dressed, how are they behaving, are they crying, are they happy, are they screaming, what's going on nonverbally. We also have information-seeking behavior that people will engage in. Asking questions. I mean, that's one of the big tools, main tools in an interview situation, right? Is asking and answering questions. So, information-seeking behavior. Then on the other hand, we have self-disclosure, which is information-giving behavior. And those things about ourselves that we reveal to others. Then we have reciprocity, and what that means is, say, I offer up something to you about myself. Do you reciprocate and offer up the same level of information about yourself to me? For example, if I tell you something personal about myself, do you reciprocate and tell me something just as personal about yourself? So how is that going? Is the relationship moving forward, or are you stuck on a certain level of reciprocity? Then we also have down here the issue of similarity and how similar or different do I see myself in relationship to you? Are you like me? Are we similar, or are we very, very different? Obviously the more similar I see myself to you, the less uncertainty I have because I know how to relate to you. But if you're very different from me, then I would have more uncertainty because I'm not quite sure what to say or how to say it. And then also liking. The issue of liking plays into this in that if I think you like me and I like you, it becomes much more comfortable. But if there's tension, if you suspect that this person doesn't like you or you don't like this person, then that heightens the level of uncertainty and discomfort within the situation. So let's move on to our next slide. And, where did we go? Berger and Craddock also talk about different phases in uncertainty reduction. We have the entry phase, the personal phase, and the exit phase. In the entry phase, think about being brand new to a situation. You don't really know much of what's going on, and the only information available to you is what you see. Who's there? How old are they? What are their sexes? What are they wearing? What's going on? And at this point, your communication is very rules-based, very norm-based. For example, you walk into an interview room. You're going to follow the traditional roles of an employment interview. You're going to shake hands. You're going to have eye contact. You're going to smile. You're going to sit up straight. You're going to be articulate. You're going to remove all the likes and the ums and the uhs from your vocabulary, right? So it's very rules-based. That's what you rely on to get yourself through the beginning part of this when there's a lot of uncertainty. The next phase is personal, and you can see here that you exchange attitudes, values, beliefs. There's more freedom. You're relating to the person more as an individual as opposed to a rule or a role. You're relating to people as unique human beings as opposed to an interviewer or an interviewee. So you can see how the uncertainty, reducing the uncertainty between you and the other person changes the dynamics of the relationship. You're less reliant upon the norms and the rules and more reliant on your unique exchange with that individual. And then the last phase is the exit. And this doesn't necessarily literally mean you leave, but it's at that point when you feel comfortable enough with the reduction of uncertainty that really little new information is coming in. You feel comfortable saying, yes, this child can stay in this home, doesn't have to go to a foster parent. You feel comfortable in the fact that you can make a correct diagnosis for a patient. You have enough information to do that. You feel comfortable making a decision about whether or not this person would be a good employee. So there's little new information coming in. You've reduced most of the uncertainty, and so you can exit this part of your exchange. And the last thing we're going to look at here is different strategies that we use to get the information to move us from the entry phase to the personal phase. And Berger and Craddock talk about two basic strategies. One is self-awareness, and the other is becoming aware of others, or knowledge of others. And the first one under self-awareness is objective, and that is where you focus on yourself as an object. Am I sitting up straight? How's my eye contact? Do I sound articulate? Do I sound enthusiastic about this, about the possibility of working here? So you're focusing on yourself. The other one here, the subjective, is where you are focusing on the people around you and comparing yourself to what others are doing. How are my answers in comparison to the person sitting next to me? Or how have I done, am I sitting up straight in comparison to other people? Am I dressed well? So you're looking at other people and comparing yourself. So number one, you focus on yourself as an object. Number two, you focus on yourself in a subjective format in that you compare yourself to others. Now, getting knowledge of other people. Let's put yourself in the role of the interviewer. All right? So one strategy that you have of getting knowledge about a candidate is the passive strategy. And that is where you are not directly engaged with that person. Passive strategies may include looking at the resume, looking at letters of recommendation, those types of things. So looking over the person's application material, writing samples, those types of things. So you are passively engaged in getting information. The next one we have down here is active. And that is where you are actively engaged in getting information. Think of this as doing reference checks, where you call people and ask people about this particular candidate. So you are actively engaged in getting information. You are communicating with other people about this person. Then the last strategy we have here is interactive. And that is where you are directly communicating with that person. Again, you are using the tools of asking and answering questions in order to get information about that person. So you see, we reduce uncertainty in interviews through knowledge about ourselves, how we're acting, and then how we get knowledge about others to reduce our uncertainty about them. So that's uncertainty reduction theory as it applies to interviews in a nutshell. Thank you.